So now we're going to do the last part of our detailing here, which is to do the detail around our pipe detail we have here. And we are going to use a small piece of the fabric which we've cut, and we have found the diameter of the pipe, and then we've cut out a star pattern almost to the diameter of the pipe, but we've kept it just a little bit back so that it's a nice tight fit around that pipe. Now we need to apply the liquid to embed this into. And we're taking the liquid around the bottom of the pipe. We can now take our fabric and push this over the top of the pipe down into the wet base coating. Again, making sure we have no bubbles or wrinkles. And we can just bring that coating slightly further up the pipe so that our star cuts will bond into it. And we can use our brush to push the fabric into place. Okay. And now we're going to take a section of the 100mm fabric and just wrap it around here, incorporating the bottom of the star cuts onto the deck. So now we need to apply the liquid over the fabric that we have and up the pipe. So that's now ready for our 100mm fabric to be wrapped around. Keeping it nice and tight to the deck. Pushing it in as we go. And where our fabric overlaps, just making sure that we've got enough grey on that for the two to bond together. And now we can coat to the top of the pipe so that we have our termination. Yep. And just making sure that we have a nice coating around the base of the detail. And that's our pipe detail in place, ready for our field fabric, which will go over the top of this detail nicely around the pipe. So now we're ready to lay our field fabric into place. We've cut this to size and to shape around our pipe. On a small rig like this, it's the easiest way to do it. So now we know that we've got our fabric nicely into place, we can pull the fabric back and we're ready to install our base coat over the area. So now we want to put down a nice coating, leaving that barking effect over the entire area, up to the edge of our fabric. and we're going to take it across our detail fabric on the side, making sure that's saturated. Right up to our edge. Once we're happy with that coating, we can now bring our fabric over, laying it into place, making sure that we have no wrinkles or bubbles. If we do have an area we think there's a wrinkle in it, we can always pull the fabric back at this stage and just smooth it out. I'm going to take my brush now with no more material put on it and just push that fabric down into place by being able to write my initials with the pressure of my finger. I know that we have enough liquid underneath. And then we repeat the same on the other side. Dropping it into place. Pushing it nice and tight around our detail. And using our brush to push that fabric into place. And at this stage now, we can start to saturate our fabric, putting our final coat on, incorporating the small areas of the upstand at the back and the trims as we work our way through. I'll do the small areas at the back with a brush first. And when we apply the top coat to the fabric, again, we want that barking effect so that we know that we have enough material on the top. We are looking to saturate the weaves of the fabric and to make sure that we have no white fabric showing. It's important as you apply this top coat just to keep an eye on the areas that you're applying to make sure that it's thick enough. We want to lose the weave of the fabric and make sure that we have no white areas of white fabric showing. At this stage now we can start to just put the coat onto the trims. At this point you can just check to make sure all of your areas are nicely coated. Just taking some material on the brush, just pushing it into that detail.
A few more dabs for me.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the first part of our field area applied.
Let's do that to the camera actually.
So now we have our filled fabric taken up to our edge of our trims, sealed around our pipe stand detail. All our upstand is incorporated, and now we're going to be bringing our last piece of fabric over a minimum of 75mm where we stopped to the front of our roof. And once that is completed, that is our project completed. Now we're going to apply our last piece of field area fabric on this demonstration. So we need to make sure that we have plenty of the Enviroflex grey on our existing fabric details. And we're going to overlap this piece of fabric a minimum of 75mm onto what we've already done. So applying the grey over the edge of the fabric that we previously laid. Getting that coating down, looking for that bark effect. Now we can lay the fabric into that coating. Making sure we have all the bubbles out, any wrinkles, and just pushing it into place. Taking our brush, pushing it down nice and tight. And then we'll apply the last area over here to expose our wet edge. And apply our embedment coat over our 75mm lap on our fabric. Take our fabric, putting it into place around our detail. And taking our brush, just using the pressure of the brush to push the fabric down. Until we're happy our fabric's in place. We're now ready to saturate this completely. Using the brush on the edges. At this stage, we can saturate that fabric that we applied over the joint earlier. Across our edge. Same with our detail around our pipe.
Just
Yep.
talking your way through.
So now we've encapsulated our fabric on that edge that we put on earlier on. Same on our corners. Not applying too much. We don't want the material to run. We can always put a little bit more on there if we need to. And now we're ready to fully saturate our field area. Okay. And now we saturate the fabric. This is our final coat. Making sure all of the weaves of the fabric are filled and that we have no white fabric showing. And we're looking out for that rippling effect as we go. Making sure all of that fabric is saturated. Applying that one coat to the trim. Always making sure that we look out to make sure there are no white areas of fabric showing. Rolling our trim as we go. Just a final check to make sure that everything has been covered. Dressing any little bits of fabric. And that's the Enviroflex product installed onto this rig, completely waterproofed. This will have a 10-year warranty. If the contractors come on training, do a training course with us, that will then be increased to 15 years.